Hello, all of you lovely people and heroes. My name is Justin, aka Cyberwaste, and I would like to welcome you back to OEO's Quarantine Cup, which is powered by CappingTV, and we're getting ourselves ready for some more competitive Overwatch. As I said, I'm Cyberwaste, and I'm joined by a fan of a very similar team to myself, a fellow fan of the Dallas Fuel, Mr. Sad Shark. How do you do, sir?
I'm going well, Cyberwaste. Thank you very much for having me on board. Looks like we've got plenty of fantastic matches to follow, both tonight and for tomorrow. Coming up right now, though, we are going to have Memento versus ADSL2. ADSL have defeated a couple of teams to get to this point, and should be a very cracking match between both of these two. Again, I'm very excited to be on board and see what we have coming up for the next round of Overwatch. Did you want to go over the map pools and the hero bands, Cyber?
Yes, indeed, I can do that for you. For the first set of maps, you'd have Control, which is Lijiang, Oasis, and Busan, and from the looks of things, we'll be moving into Lijiang Tower to start. And then the loser will get to choose after every map change. So, second map will be Hybrid, which will be the choice of Kings Row, Hollywood, and Blizzard World. For the third one, for Assault, we have Hanamura, Volskaya Industries, and Horizon Lunar Colony, for a little bit of personal space. And then we move into Escort, which is Watchpoint, Gibraltar, Dorado, and Junkatown. And for Control, the fifth map in the rotation, the losing team from map 4 will get to choose, and there'll be the remaining map from the Control discipline, which in this case will be Oasis or Busan. And if we get any tiebreakers, we can go to either Nepal or Ilios, should the need either arise. And now we get to the hero bands, which are based off of the week just gone for the Overwatch League, which is week number 10. So our damage dealers off the table will be Reaper and Sombra. Tank will be Decommissioned Big Diva and the Giant Mecha. And the support, which will be sitting this week out, will be Ana.
Very interesting hero bands indeed. Being a Reaper main myself, I was very sad to see that happen last week. But yeah, you're really minus all that brawling DPS up close range, especially with Ana gone as well. We won't be seeing any use of playing around nanos. So again, it'll be interesting to see how both teams adapt to these hero bands. I'm looking forward to seeing the creativity coming up in Lijiang Tower next, but it looks like we are ready to dive right in. I think the teams are just readying up at the moment, and we'll be going to beautiful Lijiang Tower for round 1 of Memento versus ADSL2+.
Yes, indeed, the bright neon lights, the night sky, and the beautiful architecture, which is Lijiang Tower, and the section where we nail in first will be the garden. And if you're familiar with everything Sky Shark, this is far as stomping ground for the most part.
Oh, indeed. There are plenty of opportunities here for environmental kills, especially the capture point has ample space for Pharah to jump in through one of the windows and unleash her rockets down on the enemy team. We'll have to wait and see to what extent she's used in this situation. But either way, a lot of adaptability. We could also possibly say Lucio played here as well, and anyone with any environmental possibilities. So we'll have to see how they adapt, and as I choose their heroes now.
Yes, indeed. Savannah hovering over Tracer. I wouldn't take any of these as a great assault until the gates actually drop, because they love to play around in the hero screens and perhaps throw off everybody. Royal Rice on the Lucio is interesting, so it's going to be extremely mobile comps predicted on both sides, with both Little East and Royal Rice using the Resident Frog. So Memento in the blue, and the red will be ADSL2+. And we are live, Sancho. The gates are down, and we are underway.
Very exciting indeed. Both teams going for the Wrecking Ball, going for initial brawl out. And Fleta, oh my goodness, try to charge right over to the point, but looks like the fist punch over to the other side didn't work. Crooktail goes for the environmental kill. Both Wrecking Balls still swinging around. Fights are going both ways at the moment, but it hasn't even entered the capture point at this point. At this point, ADSL2+ are just cleaning up the remaining kills and look to be going over to the capture point.
Yes, indeed, and it just went from bad to worse, and Savannah is definitely reading the writing on the wall, just saying, no, I just want to reset. That's exactly what happened. I'd say it was a bit of a misfire from the start because of Fleta absolutely whiffing that transition over for the opening fight, leaving Memento short-handed. And it was just all downhill from there. But they've definitely got plenty of chances. We're still in the early game.
So of course,
we're moving in from server side.
Another charge through from Crooktail, who rolls in, able to get a stun there, but is stunned himself. Flutter gets the uppercut onto Maka. A lot of brawl now in just a little room over here. The mines come out, but not much success. They're very easily cleared out over here. And I think it'll actually be a flip at this point. Very brawly match indeed. Still a few stagglers here from the side of ADSL2. But despite all that, despite a few members being up, Zenyatta's on his own. Goes into Transcendence to save himself and keep the other members alive. But in all this, Memento have actually been able to flip the point. So while this fight's still going on, and while it could have still been in the side of ADSL2+, Memento have been able to flip the point. Fantastic strategy there, and they're able to get up precious percentage points. That'll be reset here for ADSL2+.
And Memento would probably be wanting a couple of those ultimates back after the turn. Royal Rice would actually use the rally to try and keep themselves together. And Zealous had used the Transcendence, but it looks like the Zenyatta in the composition will be retired and Moira will be taking their place. And they're definitely well equipped to try and battle back, but just as much, Memento are loaded for bear. And there goes the Coalescence, which will be the cue to go for Memento.
Just trying to get all the splash shields there, keeping that Winston alive and gets a fantastic dive kill onto Royal Rice. So they're still defending this point quite well. The Primal Rage is popped out by Flying Luigi's, who's trying to keep that point, just trying to flip it over. Fortunately not having much success, so it'll be another reset here. Doomfist is also cleaned up. Another reset, another group rethink for ADSL2+.
Yes, and now we've seen a almost full rejigging of their composition. Crocodile has moved to the Reinhardt. The May's been put onto the field, and the only ult that they have on deck is the Meteor Strike, which doesn't really have as much util, but it would be a fight queue to go, and they're already brawling on the point, and ADSL2 Plus are trying to really strong on it.
They actually did go through the back room there. Both Doomfists deploy their Meteor Strikes, but Maka comes out the upper hand there, gets the Meteor Strike and a Rising Uppercut. Doing a very good job to try and flip it over. Percentage is still going up though. And with the Primal Rage propped here by McCarthy, I think it'll go to 99. It could be an overtime take though. Yes, dwindling on the side of Memento. Still brawling best they can, but Maka comes in with the punch. Gets him off, but they do manage to get to 99% Memento. One more one-team fight, and they could have this.
That is very, very true, and it would looking at the old economy, the Coalescence is very close to being up for Little East, so that could be a good ult to move in on the back of, but we'll wait and see. They have the room to maneuver, said Chart. They could actually let themselves perhaps get a bit more time to themselves and figure out a plan of attack. And Farah has been put onto the field, and this could hurt a lot for ADSL2+.
It definitely could. Looks like they're engaging right now. The Coalescence comes out from Zealous. There's fire. I'm getting my words tied. So there's a hammer down from Crookdale. Finds one person, but the Wrecking Ball Hanzo is able to come across. I think it'll be another reset here. Winston McCarthy's trying to get a few things, but they pop the sound barrier. Royal Rice does just for protection. Actually goes over and tries to get a few Vigilante kills over here. You see the Hulk coming up. Oh, almost got them, but Flooded and Wujing were able to fall down. They're still engaging here. Coalescence from Little S comes out. The Maywall blocks that. Meteor Strike comes down from Maka. They're trying to kind of brawl in the middle, but Hanzo comes in with the pile driver and the mines, trying to clear that space over there. A little bit of success, Flooded able to get a couple kills, but in the meantime, ADSL2 Plus have put it to 99%, and it is all or nothing at this point. The Primal Rage. McCarthy goes out with the Primal Rage to try and knock people off the point. They say that Flood is still doing her best to try and get some more kills through there. Still very much anyone's game at this point. We have a couple of takes remaining, both the Reinhardt and the Wrecking Ball for ADSL2 Plus, trying to get precious time, buy some time for ADSL2 Plus to come back. As I say that, Royal Rice comes in, but is quickly taken down by McCarthy. With time ticking down, they got one more person back on, but looks like it won't be the case. Very valiant fights from both teams, but in the end, Memento comes out on top.
And it was actually a big cutaway for the side of ADSL2+. They lost their Reinhardt to the concussive blast that Flutter rained down on him, and he was on the other side of the control point and basically cut it out in an island of his own. And when you lose a tank like that, it's not an ideal way to go. But now we move on to the night market, and this is another interesting control point to deal with because of the nature of its layout. It's essentially just gates on each side, and half of it is covered by a drop to the street below. So we'll see how this all plays out, and we'll keep an eye on Maka using the Symmetra, using basically a shortcut onto the point and giving ADSL a strong positional advantage in the opening break center.
Immediate advantage right there. They've already dominated the point. It looks like Memento are already playing catch-up. They've got the shield and they're kind of playing around it. Now we're seeing the aggressive push here from ADSL2+, and it's working out. Maka gets the first kill on the Hanzo, and I think it'll just be a straight disengage at this point. Few projectiles are still being fired from Memento, but that was a very easy take, very smart use of the Symmetra, and we got some turrets set up here to discourage any trespassers on the main point. Very clever play there from Maka.
Yeah, and a couple of the members of Memento, they just want to either go down or try to straight disengage, because the more casualties you take at a time like this, the more stretched out your attacks will be. And they're really pressing the issue on the side of ADSL2+. They're well within the right, so they have the positional advantage, the ultimate advantage, and they can basically flaunt it until the side of Memento can even get in and try to engage properly. Savannah could be huge here.
Oh, Savannah's sneaking around. They're all focused on the front. Goes in. Oh, gets the May. Puts the wall up. Unfortunately, it's not enough to save Hana. Gets two. Incredible play there with a concussive blast through the back. Gets a few kills. No territorial advantage on the point. Still a lot of brawling. And as I say that, a huge shatter there from Crocodile. Gets a few down. And even with that fantastic rocket barrage there, fortunately wasn't able to capitalize on it. It'll be another reset here from Memento.
Savannah's trying their damnedest to disengage, especially after that frag on the Crocodile. And waiting for the rest of the side of Memento to get into position and try to properly engage. McCarthy does have the gravitic flux. There is the amplification matrix from Little East, and Savannah's gone down.
The whole
that crucial pick could basically stop this track for Momentum.
Not over yet though. They've deployed the amplification matrix and Fleta fires through with the Dragon Strike. Bunch of others able to pull through. I think they were so focused on the far over there, kind of got distracted. A lot of Memento to come over and will flip the point at 90% for ADSL2+.
And Memento was clocked in, and well, Savannah might be a little bit miffed that the glory kills didn't go to the Fire, but they did their job. They essentially took the bait and let the rest of the team move in behind her and basically catch everybody off kilter. Big gravitic flux out in the courtyard. Zealous has hit the deck, and there goes the big discus that Baptiste throws, and that'll be the chance for ADSL2+ basically say, no, we're not going to engage anymore.
It's not how far you throw it, it's how it's used. Fantastic immortality field there. That was off the back of a greatly used gravitic flux from McCarthy. He was able to hone out the one here, take down everyone else in ADSL2+, went down with it. Up to 43% now. We're having another engagement here from ADSL2+, going through the balcony with both takes, putting down their shields. Supercharger comes out, but the Hulk brings down Royal Rice. As I say that though, what a shatter. Whoa.
And Little East, Savannah did try to take down Crocodile, but it could be just living on borrowed time on the side of Memento. And Fleta really trying to disengage, only on 25 HP, is able to get out cleanly, but that is resulted in a flip of the point. Memento is scrambling to try to get a touch. They might be able to do it, but it's going to be extremely scrappy from here on out.
Winston takes a dive, touches the point first. They have to sprint there literally, and they got the Wrecking Ball out there with the shields, trying to buy as much time as possible, and we have a pause.
And it's Wu Jing too, who's left the game, and Hanzo as well. So it's pretty much the last chance that they had, and it's really unfortunate they lose one healer and one of their tanks in this instance on what could potentially be the final fight of this sector, and that is a real kick in the teeth.
It is indeed, but either way, this has been a very close and very scrappy brawl, especially with all the point brawls between Memento and ADSL2+. I like what I've been seeing on both sides. You can definitely see the aggression poking out a bit more for ADSL2+, especially when they save Hana, try to come through with the other barrage. Didn't let it deter them, got the one pick, charged straight through with the supercharger, and that's what I like to see. Coming to the next point, though, with the disconnect, we're unsure how the rest of this fight will turn out. Especially with 2 gone. and at 99% overtime. We'll just have to wait and find out. But what do you make of what you've been seeing so far, Cyberwaste?
Well, it's been essentially a big show of wars of attrition between both of these teams. Basically, been a lot of ground out fights and lots of basically little symphonies and little gameplay tweaks between them, and both of them have been extremely tight. But ADSL2 Plus have shown, especially on this sector, it took them a while to get there. If you look at Garden in a bit of a vacuum. But they've really come to their own element and are starting to really move together. But the big unfortunate thing that we have to really take into consideration of the two members that have DC'd, they're going to be coming back in and their ultimate charge will reset and they'll be stuck right back at their spawn points, if I remember.
Sure, yeah, we'll have a look at the brackets.
We'll have a look at the current state of play and the brackets that we do have. I have it right in front of my eyeballs right now. So the first round has been and gone. A couple of the teams did have buys, it should be noted. We had Ravens and God Mode getting the buy, and Memento as well. So in the opening round, we had the previous game that was on stream with myself and Kit Fox on the call. Minion had beaten Classified 3-1. Atletico advanced to the second round 3-2 over Corrupted Systems. So that was a full set belter. Good on them. And Paradigm Shift moved 3-0 over their opponents' Spreadshed, which will be going up against God Mode in this round. And the game that you are seeing now will be Memento Esports and ADSL2 Plus still going at. So in the loser's side, we have Classified, Corrupted Systems, Spreadshed, and Excalibur. Excalibur, who was whitewashed by ADSL2 Plus 3-0.
Still a lot of matches held in front of us, so I have quite a few teams who have yet to play as well. A lot to take in, a lot to analyze. We've seen a very wide variety of different play styles happening here, so it'll just be a moment of wait and see what we come up with next. That is, though, if we get out of this pause, I have the reading of the overtime ticker in my ears, and it's driving me insane right now, so not too sure how much more patient I can be.
I have one of the heroes just letting their gun go in my left ear, and there is I could take bets on guessing as to which one it would be.
May?
No.
I was wrong. Arisa?
Bingo.
Oh. So just a constant machine gun.
It sounds like an old the MGs from a more modern version of the MGs from, say, Call of Duty World at War. So we do have the members back in the server, so we're waiting for the ready call to come in, and now it is up to both of the members to say that they're present and for Vaz to call for the unpause.
It looks like we're just about ready. Ready's coming through, and we're counting down now. 3, 2, 1, 0. Back into the fray. And they've got the Dragon Strike actually coming through, and Flooded comes out straight on with the kill on Electroconic. This has actually gone completely not the way I expected as to what I thought it would turn out. So we have two returning people here from Memento. 0% ult charge, but Flooded is like, doesn't matter if we're 2 down, I got this, fires a volley of arrows, is able to flip it back over.
I have a bow and arrow, says Flutter. What do you got? I have the...
We've got another disconnect.
We said it was Hanzo, but not Hanzo the character. It's Hanzo the player, and it's really unfortunate. And sadly it is a testament to the infrastructure of the internet in this giant country of ours, and these are. Sadly, for those not familiar with esports across Australia, it's a lot more common than you'd think.
Indeed, unfortunately, and with the strain of what the internet's getting put through, with everyone working from home and doing things from home, with social isolation and public health orders in place, understandably putting a little bit of a strain on what's happening. But either way, what we can do is wait, power through it, wait for all teams to be ready. Wait. So we're still getting things confused, but let's just talk about that fight there, because I saw the Dragon Strike come through, and then I saw Fleta get a bunch of great. Oh, looks like we're coming through right now. My bad. I think we've got a sub coming through as well. I've got Jasper coming through now to replace. No, Hanzo's back. My bad. So they've still got the point here. Anything could happen here, Cyber Waste.
That is true. Let's talk about Fleta. Flew out a Dragon Strike to get the opposition to move, and then use the Storm Arrow to basically trick them to go the other way. McCarthy will come in and basically zap everybody when the opposition's caught unaware. Zealous's Discus will go down, and then the Baptiste will actually get a frag on a Hanzo, and overtime will be in effect, and McCarthy is extremely angry and will knock Crocodile off into the city below, but that might be all she wrote, Sandshark, as the overtime will begin to bleed away. It's only the mercy of Wu Jing bleeding the clock.
And they've got Hanzo coming through as the Wrecking Ball to try and get a last touch. It will now be 1-all. And what I actually noticed there is they were able to just waltz their way through the middle. There wasn't really much opposition. They were able to walk right through the middle road to the point, and they were just able to outmuscle and get the flip before even any fighting had really started. So, a very interesting strategy there.
And that kind of timing is something that you really, really want to fall in your favor if you want to get the point back, because you rarely get an easy avenue when you're fighting downwards in terms of time. So that's going to be one to remember. And now we have one to decide it all. The brawl to settle the score, and it will be on Control Center Sky Shark. And we'll see how Memento is going to play. This Symmetra choice from Savannah is basically, I feel, is going to be using the teleporter to get up top and then trickle down to the point and get the strong position there. And that's exactly what we're getting.
You're getting the Bastion. I saw that. They're setting up right on top. The wall comes there to block. The Bastion makes easy work of the ice wall there, getting the position there, firing a volley of bullets in configuration turret. But remarkably, the first kill is actually on the Savannah. So despite the good positioning, as I say that though, Savannah is rezzed up. They weren't really making any progress on the point here. Wu Jing is kind of caught behind, and they're doing everything they can to try and disrupt them. And they're actually able to flip the point without any kills despite the rezzed one. So they got good position here. But they're actually able to use this middle column here as cover from the Bastion bullets. They see what they're doing. They're constantly putting out the May walls, where Leprechaunik is to kind of disorient the Bastion. Crocodile is doing a great job keeping his shield up to defend from the Bastion here. So not many even kills here from...
No, only one frag, and that was on the back. Then there is the return. McCarthy is done and dusted, with Crocodile getting credit for that one. Big Earth Shatter from Crocodile. Did knock down Flutter, but the tag is actually putting it together. And Memento, they are basically putting on a demonstration of perseverance and slowly yet surely repelling the opposition away. ADSL2 plus, yeah, they got the initial 44 or so %, but Memento is making that patience pay off in spades. Finally getting control of the point, and they're going to be dug in now.
The funniest part about that was Fleta was actually shattered and was charged in. The charge slightly missed, and Hanzo was able to get their shield up to protect Fleta, able to set back up and just get the kill onto Crocodile and everyone else. So it was a very interesting turn of events. As I say that, though, move on to the next fight. Crocodile is the first one to get the first kill. Takes down Save Hana. We got another brawl coming here on the point. Amplification Matrix comes out. Try to get some boosted power there, but Fleta actually drops down and uses configuration. Oh! Configuration take more like configuration self-destruct, unfortunately.
It's nowhere near as stylish as how Diva does self-destructs either. And now with basically Memento being evacuated from the point, it's only Savannah left standing. And now ADSL2 plus, they're back where they started. There was a brief tie in terms of percentage, but not anymore.
Indeed. Again, I like what they're doing with the Bachelor, but I think they decided, okay, it's time to change over to the May, and Fleta goes to the McCree. So a little bit of hit skin in there. The wall is very good at displacing, but as I say that, Leprechaunik puts up their wall. Oh, very brawly here. A lot of ultimates being put. Look at that shatter from. Oh! The free saves the day. Stunned, frozen. The shatter comes in, about to charge through. Oh, Savannah just saved the day. Ice cold reception there for the shatter. I rate that negative sub-0 out of 10. That was a great save.
I rate that 0 Kelvin out of 10.
Oh,
no, that was seriously stone cold. And Savannah I know May has a bit of a reputation amongst the community, but when it's all said and done, if May can do that for you, you will be forever grateful. And Leprechaun, speaking of Mays, will come out worse for wear in a skirmish with McCarthy, and now Memento are truly in the driver's seat and leaving the side of ADSL2 Plus up into their own devices and trying to basically breach their way back in and try and figure out a way back to the point, because this particular configuration from Memento is going to be extremely tight gripped.
Yes, and as you said, it comes an all-out brawl in the middle over here. They're holding them to the spawn, but all economies are up pretty well. A lot of, we had I believe a Blizzard and an amplification mix come out. Not many kills at this point, though. Only a couple of kills from each side, so still anyone else. As I said, though, ADSL2 gets in a fantastic Earth Shatter, and they're able to strong-arm their way through the right corridor to get one final point flip. It'll be around 97% for Memento, and there'll be 1 or 2 fights left to determine who the winner is here on Legion Tower.
It is extremely tight. Savannah does have the Blizzard at the ready, but keep an eye on Flutter. He's going to get a bird's eye view of the entire skirmish. Does have the Deadeye at the ready. Ooh. And that Discus is going to save their life. Zealous will be like, thank you, Baptiste. You're welcome. Savannah will be taken out by the burst gun as well, but that might be all there is to it. Memento will be evacuating the rest of the side of ADSL2 Plus, and that is going to be the bell sounding, the map concluding, and 1 on the board for Memento.
And then if you notice there, so as you saw, the Immortality Field saved the ADSL2 Plus from the High Noon, but Flutter was like, I'm not letting that stop me. Flutter just completely rambled it, dropped down from the top balcony, pulled out that revolver and got a bunch of incredible headshots in order to flip the point back. So it was incredible solo play there to get it through, but that's not to discredit the rest of the team. Either way, you saw how close this series was, just as its percentage points, and how it was 2-1 to Memento. I like what I'm seeing from both teams. Very, very brawly, a lot of aggression, but unfortunately for ADSL2, it does fall in the way of Memento. It was a coin flip. Any other little action there could have prevented things from going through, but they weren't giving up after any ultimates were wasted. They were going to keep going, make do with what they had, and that's what resulted in success for Memento.
Indeed, and ADSL2 Plus does have the power of choice in terms of the next map, and they've also had a tag in. Jasper has come in for Maka in the interim, and we have had our map chosen, and you had a 33 1/3 chance of choosing, but we have King's Row next on the ticket, and now we'll wait and see. This is ADSL2's map choice, but if you were to split it, you basically could have said, oh, either of these teams could have chosen it. So if it's going to be this tight all the way through, we could be in for a really, really cracking set.
Indeed, it'll definitely be something that I don't even really know what to predict, because the first fight in the first map series was so close. So King's Row, you have a lot of open space, especially for the first attacking point. Yeah, I'm a little bit out of words. I know there's a lot of attacking space there in King's Row, but in terms of what else to see, I'm honestly lost for words. Don't really know what to expect.
It's a tried and true map. It's essentially the cornerstone map for Overwatch as a game. Like you go through certain maps in certain series, like say, you always think of Strike from Call of Duty 4. You think of like Badlands from TF2 or Dust 2 for Counter-Strike. King's Row is that map for Overwatch. It's so well drilled and so well known. It's basically like the back of your hand. So you really have to dig deep to try and basically fall on an opponent and show your strength and show your versatility. And it looks like the ready calls are being exchanged. And Skyshark, let's take a trip to King's Row.
Indeed, tried and true, reliable King's Row here in beautiful United Kingdom. 30 seconds to assemble the heroes over here. So we're having here Memento, sorry, not Memento, we're having ADSL2 Plus on the attack, I believe.
We are going to get our memories jogged a little bit when we do see the hero pools begin to take shape.
Indeed.
And to remind those playing along at home, we do have hero bans, and they're based off week 10 of the Overwatch League. So that means that Reaper, Sombra, Diva, and Ana are going to be off the table. And that actually is a big deal, especially with Diva using her Matrix. That's actually been used a lot to assist with approaches, because you can suck up a lot of, say, ice picks, you can suck up a lot of balls, the orbs if you're Moira, and any of the projectiles. So that being a resource you can't go to is a big swing, and we'll have to wait and see. And Savannah has elected to go with the Ashe, and I know that Kid Fox will be proud. But the gates are about to go down, Sad Shark. Let's begin.
Here we go. And as we were mentioning before, as with Diva, we're relying a lot more on shield play. As you can see, both teams are both going with Orisa and Hanzo. Sigma for the case of Memento, but got the shield up the Reinhardt, charging through, going through the left room, and just trying to go around the back with both shields straight on to the point. Set up there, though, Hanzo is with the shield and the halts, trying to do their best to defend the point. As they're saying that, though, there's been no kills exchanged. The statistics just going up. They forgot that you need to brawl on the point, not anywhere else. They're just letting him take it, and I think with only 1 or even 0 kills exchanged here, I think we're almost gonna let them get the point here.
This could be an absolute freebie in a very strange war of attrition, and it's essentially just two teams grinding each other out. And the first frag finally falls, as being Jasper being sent to the Undertaker, and Bob has been made to make an appearance thanks to Savannah. And Hanzo, McCarthy, and Fleta have basically knocked the wind out so hard that the pause got called.
Indeed, I believe they were intimidated by Bob. Maybe that's why they put the pause through. So that was an interesting sequence of events. We normally see with a team fight 1 very little or even no progress made on capturing the point. But the way that both teams were positioned, I believe Memento were actually positioned around the top balcony, and they were very focused on brawling either where ADSL2 plus came out or the room on the left.
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
They were expecting to basically hang around the hotel where the entire team split through. Like, one went through towards the statue, one went through towards the archway. And they were expecting them to hold there, not brawl out towards the point. And as a result of that elongated fight, the point almost went away from them. They got up to 94.1, and the defenders just salvaged it, but it could have almost gone extremely badly.
It could have indeed. I honestly thought they would have been a thing with, if you remember the Dallas and Washington match, where it was a free push to the end of Numbani. It kind of reminded me of that almost, so I'm very fortunate it didn't fall that way. As I said, though, they have got 94.1% ADSL2. And what that means is that they only need to put about 33% more to capture the first point, so a lot less work they need to do for subsequent fights. Could make it a lot easier in terms of a one fight. But having said that, there is 3 minutes left in the first point defense to see what Memento have up their sleeves to hold. And people in the chat are actually saying that ADSL2 plus living up to their name due to the connection issues. I'm not too sure what I think about that.
That's a tirade for another day. But it does actually ring a little bit true with the fact that people are actually brought up on this type of environment and have the patience of basically Zen-like patience, which is odd because we don't see a Zenyatta on the field, but you're basically molded by this type of occurrence, and you just sort of roll with the punches. But we'll take this brief intermission to remind you all to just basically be safe and enjoy the show and enjoy each other's company, and please stay at home if you can, and if you can, buy from your locals and get food from there, get meals from there, because there's very, very talented people who are doing it extremely tough. So anything will be appreciated. And we are ready to get back into it, Sky Shark, after that little spiel. And like you said, Memento can hold, but we have 3 minutes for ADSL to chew through, and they're well and truly equipped to do just that.
Yeah, just a little correction there, my friend. It is Sand Shark, not Sky Shark. So
where does Sky Shark come from?
I have no idea. You'll have to tell me. But as I say that, the Hulk comes here to try. Oh, You see the halts? Pulled Jasper out and Flutter was able to get the kill onto them. Fantastic play there. And that's how useful Halt can be. Tiniest little bit of immobility. Hitscan can jump right on that and delay ADSL2 Plus's pushes even further.
And a creation from McCarthy to try and even stretch it out a little bit further for the defense, making it even more difficult for them. ADSL2 Plus moving in towards the statue and starting to move forward. Big Earth Shadow will come down from Crocodile, and that will basically eliminate McCarthy. And Wu Jing has already gone into Valkyrie form, but a player down, it's not going to end all that well. But with Flutter going down, it could be a small window of opportunity.
Yeah, they've got a rotation here as well, so they actually rotated through the upper and pushed Memento off the top. But it hasn't really deterred them because Save Hana actually placed the ball. As I say that, though, it wasn't enough. They were able to strong arm their way ADSL2 Plus onto the point. And as I said, that's how useful only getting 33% was to them. The tiniest little distraction, the strong arming, pushing down up the point 2 now.
That's very true, and perhaps Savannah was banking on Bob perhaps still being able to contest the point. But that as it was, Memento was not able to keep the defense up, and they were just starting to get back together, but it was looking like they were slightly ajar with McCarthy being slightly out of position. And now moving on to the streets phase, all this free space for ADSL2 Plus, they will take that all day.
Indeed, we've got 2 glued on the payload. Both supports here chilling there, having a good time. Poking up just slightly before the second capture point. Looks like Memento will be actually taking the upper bridge area. Try and get some kills. Save Hana, throws through to Dynamo. Oh! Halted again by flying the Luigi's. And the fire strike comes through from Crocodile. Fantastic work playing around these halts.
And the Deadeye will come out, and McCarthy got wiped off the board. And the big snowball and the blizzard from Leprechaunik just keeping everybody in place. And that is a ticket to the Foundry, 4 minutes and 20 seconds. A very nice time indeed for ADSL2 Plus to have in their back pocket. And they can definitely keep this going. Look at their ult back, Sad Shark.
Yes, ult banks looking very good, but again I need to compliment, these are fantastic halts being used by flying the Luigi's, pulling them off the top and using that window of opportunity to pick them off. As I say that though, Ant Matrix comes up, Ice Wall though comes up from Leprechaunik to defend them all. Although the first kill seems to be falling in favor of Memento. Hanzo takes down the flying Luigi's, can't use the halt that time, it won't save you. And they're able to finally grind the payload to a halt after a pretty steady push through to point 2. It'll be reset from ADSL2 Plus.
Yes, and the Supercharger and Earth Shatter on deck for ADSL2 Plus. So it's definitely doable, but they're going to have a lot of stuff to navigate, namely shields and personnel.
Again!
And wow, that Savannah's not having a good time. Got halted and then ate a fire strike for their trouble, but that could be the small consolation. Leprechaunik is basically parting the seas, and one of the tanks is out of commission. And the amplification matrix and the supercharger was put down. Little East has been put onto the bench. Bob might be able to do something. It's tucked in the corner and still able to be an absolute nuisance. And Memento has a slight window and Bob just pried it open like the stud that he is. The rest of the team will come through and Memento will hang on by 55 centimeters.
That is insane, and I feel like that was the best place for the Bob to charge through. It was such an awkward, and it was so far up as well, so if you were the Reinhardt there protecting your team from the Bob bullets, you had to turn towards him. Even then, you're not providing enough shield defense for the rest of your team trying to push it through, so I had to stand back near the last corner, so it gave him a lot of room to work with to get those final picks on the sides of Memento. So great defensive play there from Save Hana. As I say that though, we do go to another pause over here, having more technical issues coming through. Apparently bad ping on one of the other members, but again, I want to start a Flying Luigi's Halt appreciation thread, because I've seen 3 of those kills come through now. Now, in the games that I play as a Platinum, that basically never happens because the coordination has to be incredible, but 3 times Flying Luigi's and Crocodile have been able to pull that off. It's been a fantastic utility, and especially with Diva being out, the creative use of getting these picks has been incredible.
That's very true, and I mean, if you've got it down, if you've got the utility there, why not use it? They've been using it to their full advantage. Didn't quite get it that time though, and Memento can start to stabilize as the choke begins to bear, and Zealous going down is not going to help things. So this push might even be abandoned, and Savannah will be forced to reckon with the people on the retreat, and McCarthy having a bit of a blinder too.
No, you still like
eliminate.
You saw that kill that from McCarthy. Crocodile actually just dived down to do the reset, but as they got the last melee tag on Crocodile, it counts as a kill. So, very, just wanted to go for the quick reset, and they'll be going again. They got a minute and 43 left to push it to the final point. Shield comes up from Crocodile, keeps it up, but is burned, is Gravitic Fluxed, is Dragon Striked. Man, they're really targeting Crocodile here. Not feeling very good at all. That'll cause a little bit of a headache. More kills are falling on the side of Memento.
That's true, and the feed in the blink of an eye is very blue, and ADSL2 Plus is very, very stretched, and we have to get the repairman out to get them going again. We're moving into 1 minute 10, and looking at their ultimates, they'd be pretty proud as punch. The only big one that they might want to get up to speed is Crocodile on the Reinhardt. Having the Earth Shatter would be a big deal right now, but we'll have to wait and see it. That Lucio ult, that is the cue to go in.
Yeah, but they get Bob in another great position just behind the payload over here. May tries to ice up to save himself, but Bob gets the final blow and says, "See you later, I'm out of here. Thank you very much, good day to you." Another reset here, and I think it'll be one more fight here. See if they can try and get the last points on Kings Row ADSL2 Plus.
And you can tell that it's going to be really sharp for time. 30 seconds down, and we're moving into a full speed comp. We have the Wrecking Ball for Fly Luigi's, Crocodile on the Winston, Leprechaunik on the Genji. So they're really wanting to rush in there and get in amongst it. The Supercharger will go down from Hanzo, who's playing the Orisa, to clear up any of the confusion. And that's even forced the players to go back. They're banking on a flank from Leprechaunik, and it got snuffed out. So ADSL2 Plus just got a touch, but they're going to be short-handed, and it's going to go from bad to worse.
A further measure, the Dragon Strike comes through to split both the teams, and McCarthy comes through with the Graphitic Flux just to make sure no one else will pass and will be held and slammed back into the ground. They're able to get the hold with 55 centimeters remaining. Memento score is currently 2-0 to ADSL2 Plus. See what happens when the sides are switched.
And the distance, according to the ticker that came up at the intermission, was 69.69. Nice. Now,
Wow.
it's strange because the UI says 69.72. So
Someone's
strange.
obviously rigged it.
Yeah, so someone just bored says let's get someone to do the nice bit again. Yeah, that'll be fun. Either way, we now have Memento wanting to put up their attacking prowess, and ADSL2 Plus will once again be on the defense.
I would say once again because they've just swapped over, but we're seeing very similar compositions from both sides. Both switching on. They're still staying the Orisa and the Sigma for Memento. ADSL2 Plus still opting for the Reinhardt and Orisa. So very similar comps with the tanks. Not much has changed. They got the McCree out though to try and get a few flank kills. But as the gates are about to be opened yet again, we'll see how well Memento can do on attack.
We shall wait and see. The gates are down and open, and Savannah just getting everybody moving and opted for the Ash, who we're seeing a lot more of. And lots of people are saying that it's not as strong as some of the other heroes on offer, but really wanting to make it work and gotten a lot of ticks on there thus far, but it's going to be a big deal if a frag can follow up from it. Wu Jing's immortality field has gone down though, and Memento's moved back towards the theater.
Now the Ice Wall actually went up there to stop the Zenyatta, well, at least from using his Orbs of Destruction, Orbs of Harmony, and Discord. Luckily, the Immortality Field came in, and then down again, just as I see, he can't get any healing there because the Ice Wall there. from Leprechaunik is there to block any orbs coming through. So, still a very half and half fight here. A little bit of brawling around, but Flood is coming through with the hero plays yet again, getting the final kills, and allows Seihana to actually rotate onto the point, start getting some progress. And despite the way Wall's blocking the Zenyatta orbs, which I fixated on a little, everything else was able to happen in the meantime, and they will very quickly take points 1 within 1.5 minutes.
Indeed, 5 minutes and 12. Moving into the streets phase, and if they could keep this going, if Bob could do something magical, it could be basically a free set of real estate to chew through. But Bob is met with nothing but shields, and then just got promptly decommissioned by the Orisa. So that is Savannah getting absolutely demolished. Look at all the assists there for the side of ADSL2 Plus. They're going to be very, very annoyed by that. And now,
oh, go ahead.
Yeah, the Dragon Strike will actually claim Leprechaunik, and it's gonna continue being a war of attrition at the Arch, and that's gonna really favor the defense.
Oh, and it's just been as it comes to Shatter through, gets all of them, gets 4 of them. No utility though, gives at least enough time to come up the Transcendence to try and get a little bit more brawly, a little bit in your face around the corner here. Payload is slowly but surely moving, being ever so contested, trying to get the kills, but Fleta is having a ball on this Hanzo here. Just jumping around, getting through the final kills. Baptiste tries to linger out the point as long as he possibly can. Fortunately, those Exo boots can only do so much for you, Wujing, and Memento will continue to push the payload with just under 4 minutes left in the time bank.
Yes, indeed, and the Sonic Arrow will go out to reveal one person, that is the Reinhardt and the Foundry, and just a small bit of recon that was gathered for the side of Memento. Now, looking at ADSL2 Plus, they're wanting to brawl on the high ground, and both sides are willing to oblige.
Yeah, they're kind of rotating through the high ground. Amplification Matrix does come out, but they're actually able to, not a very good position, because they're actually able to just hide out around the corner. So just doing a little game of hide and seek. You're going to fire double damage at me? Nope, sorry. Unless you have hit scan wall hacks, you're not able to hit me. As I say that though, they're able to rotate around and get some final kills, and that actually pushes Memento all the way back to almost near their spawn. So even with the limited kills, the positional rotation just forced him back, especially with the lack of a shield tank. Well, with the lack of the Orisa, so waiting for Hanzo, the Orisa to come back to go for another push.
And the card's actually in a bit of an awkward spot too. It's right in between the Final Bend and the Foundry, so these next few fights could be a really tight squeeze for Memento, where they're going to have to rely on basically parting the seas. A big blizzard will come out, and that is Memento basically being knocked down by ADSL2 Plus and saying, yeah, we're going to have ice blocks. And that'll be that.
Well, Jasper did a great job. Uppercut 2 of the players from Memento, and while they're up in the air, basically immobile, we have Leprechaunik throwing down their Blizzard, freezes them all in place, very out of position, and they're able to use that to their advantage to buy some more time on the clock. 2 minutes here left for another push for Memento, going through the top corridor and down the stairs.
And we'll be waiting for the bomb to be summoned, and there it goes. And the amplification matrix, the supercharger, everything being thrown at it. And a big dramatic flux from McCarthy. The topping of a team effort. McCarthy and Savannah with Fleta on the side will sound the bell. And that is poetry in motion.
That gives a whole new meaning to a back alley brawl right there. I don't think I've seen an Overwatch fight take place in a narrower area, to be honest. So the limited room just basically, it was a free pass for McCarthy. They're not done yet though. Jasper comes up, bubbled by Zarya to try and get a bit more aerial disruption. Unfortunately does not do enough as they're able to push it to point 2 with 2 minutes 38 on the clock. Still not giving up just yet, but Jasper goes down. A little bit of brawling left on this point, still trying to stall it as best as they can. I think at one point or another they are going to have to give up a little bit. But as I say that, tries to part the seas with the Dragon Strike. No success. Payload still hasn't moved from its initial point. I think Bob might have something to say about that. Charges all the way to the end. gets a few picks near the end, and that actually forces ADSL2 Plus into the corridors, letting them push just a little bit further. Another very, very well placed bob there from Savehana. Payload still isn't really moving much to the Cyberwaste. This is a very interesting turn of events for this fight.
No, it's been a really interesting fight on both sides. Memento has finally gotten the upper hand, but with the side of ADSL2 Plus basically being funneled into the tight side corridor, they were able to basically stay there for a long time. And although it did look flimsy at first inspection, that defense was actually holding extremely strong at the entrance to the foundry, and that bled a good chunk of time. And Sandshark, we're down under 1 minute 30 now.
And actually, you're right. Very good way to burn more time off the clock. The more you can burn off, the better. And they do have spawn advantage here, pushing ever so slowly up to near the end. And this isn't like a hold where they've just got it like halfway to the end. This is a hold where they've got it near the end. And even though they have the Gravitic Flux, the sound barrier saves them all. Little East tries to protect this team using the Transcendence, and also tries to get a bit more damage through the Amplification Matrix. But again, the very obvious positioning just allows everyone from ADSL2 Plus just to hide.
And Savannah just dinked Jasper up on the high ground, taking the coach gun ride upward to take the duel with the Widowmaker, but that might be it as the rest of Memento get evac. Bob is sent down to do something, does frag the Baptiste, but that might be all that they wrote for that push, and we're moving down to the 30-second warning.
McCarthy got caught late too, so that's a huge stagger. 30 seconds left. What do they got in them? They have the Dragon Strike up, and that's actually the only real ult they have to work with. So Flutter will have to have the Dragon Strike out there light for something to work. Amplification Matrix comes up. Flood is able to fire it through just in time, but doesn't get anyone, but does get the Constellation kill onto Leprechaunik. And then the tide is turning indeed. They've brawled up in the corner over there and are slowly pushing the payload. Most of the damage dealers are out. Lucio is down, and they are now into overtime. No one can leave this cart. They have to get it to the end. And ADSL2 Plus have one more or two more chances to try and grind this thing to a halt and stop it in its tracks. As I said, McCarthy though does get the kill right out of the spawn and is being kept up by that orb of harmony. Even with all the environmental and other hammer down on McCarthy, McCarthy's just Ramboing it, going through with brute strength. I thought they were done there, but they're not. Flying Luigi's tries to roll in, but does not roll in quick enough. They won't be rolling on any further. That was probably one of the most incredible overtime pushes and very much clutch overtime pushes I've seen. Just giving McCarthy the time and the space, able to come in with a few very good hero plays. And map 2, King's Row will again be following in favor of Memento. Very good work indeed. What do you think of that, Cyber?
Yes, indeed. And Memento is basically a savant at winning team fights, as we were demonstrated there by a full-blown team effort. And yeah, the MVP for that map would be McCarthy for me and his tank play, especially with the Sigma. But that ending play as a Reinhardt, he just went in and, as you said, he Ramboed it. He just basically he recreated the Fallen and Glory cinematic and acted like the Reinhardt right at the end of it.
That was, again, I've seen a lot of very interesting locations for team fights in that map. The corridor brawl was especially a highlight there. They're not really deciding where to fight. They're just picking a fight where they see the enemy and bringing the fight to them. So, but I do agree with you with McCarthy, especially that legendary play there from the Reinhardt. He actually did get shattered near the end, but there was no one else to follow up. And I believe the Reinhardt either missed a fire strike or a charge. Please do correct me if I'm wrong. But was able to get back up and with little support, keep swinging the hammer, keep doing those fire strikes, keeping the team alive, keeping himself alive, and getting an overtime push. But even with the 2-0 scoreline to Memento at the moment, I am still not convinced that one of these teams is greatly, I guess, stronger than the other. We've seen very close fights here. We've seen very scrappy team fights in combat. And each map could have gone either way. We saw the control map go to 99-99 1-all, and we've seen this one for an overtime push. And even when ADSL2 Plus got it to 2 points, they got to 0.55 meters away from point 3. We're seeing a lot of strength from both teams, but point has fallen in the favor of Memento both times due to some incredible clutch plays and teamwork. But still a lot more to witness here. One more map, and I believe, please do correct me if I'm wrong, this is a 3-map or 4-map series.
This is a best of 5, so it'll be a first to 3. And now Memento is up 2-0, but that as you said, I'll basically just mirror what you're saying. It doesn't truly reflect the way that this set has gone. This set has been extremely tight, and it's only been decided by, say, 1 or 2 fights that have gone in the favor of Memento and has given them the 2-0 standing that they're in now. So ADSL, despite everything and the issues that we've had to also try to navigate as well, they should be feeling pretty confident and not really all that downtrodden, because they have been basically leveling Memento at every turn. It's just that on the score sheet it might reflect otherwise.
Indeed. That's one thing I look into and look into matches. The score obviously is the final word, but looking into the gameplay of both teams and going into the next 2CP one, I believe it will probably could even be a draw, to be honest. Not really, again, 2CP, not really a fan of all that, but we are moving to it right now. It will be to Off-Earth. It will be to Horizon Lunar Colony, Winston's home grounds, Winston's stomping grounds, as we see both teams rocketed to the moon to get prepared. Now, funny thing about Horizon Lunar Colony, this, along with Paris, will actually be removed from the map pool for an indefinite period of time in the near future while Blizzard reworks both maps. So we might not even be seeing this iteration of the map for too much longer. So it'll be interesting to see the continued playstyle with this kind of map and how they adapt when the new one comes out. But as I say that, the time burns down. We do have ADSL2 Plus on attack, and we'll see how they go.
Yes, indeed. And actually, I was scanning around the map, and in one of the side rooms, there's like a little pipe game where they try and test their intelligence, and perhaps it'll be a test for me to do in the future. But either way, Memento will be on the defense. We see Flutter on the Torbjorn.
Yes.
The 5 feet of Fury himself will be put on the field, and Savannah once again electing to go with the Ashe, who has been really strong with it. So I don't really blame them for wanting to give that a go. And the gates are down. ADSL2 Plus has started their attack, and looking at Jasper, he'll be wanting to put that Peacemaker to work.
Yes, as I say that, the Ashe starts the engagement by throwing out some dynamite, setting Flying Luigi's on fire. That turret's been left relatively uncontested, and despite it actually not getting many picks, it's showing Memento where the enemy team is going up. They're going up the stairs as the Brawl's migrated up to there. The Immortality Field does come out, and it looks like it's another strong arm fight. They've just been able to kind of charge their way up there, protected by the support from Zealous. Please forgive my pronunciation. As I say that, though, they still don't really actually have any progress on the point. They're trying to clean it all out before they drop down, which they do now. And they also throw out the amplification matrix through the door. So that's great placement. They're forced to hide, and that's the only real way through to point A. So capture in just under a minute for ADSL2 Plus. 6 minutes left on the bank as they go to capture point B.
And they could actually keep this going if Memento does not get back into position quick enough. They can basically snowball this if they're not careful. And it looks like that is exactly what they're going to do, especially on the back of the Lucio. But that big bit of dynamite that got hit. And there goes Bob in there like swimwear. And the halts this evening have been crucial for basically swinging all these team fights. And we're seeing it on display right now.
Yeah, the Hulk got them out of position. They all dropped down and appeal for the team, but unfortunately, it's just has kind of thrown a wrench in their plans. And Memento's able to swing the fight around in their favor after that sudden positional change forced by Hanzo's Orisa Holtz. More confusion there for you. It'll be another reset with 5 minutes left on the time make for ADSL2 Plus.
I will actually go on record and say you make the any players that name themselves after heroes that they don't play makes the caster's life extremely difficult.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll let that one slide. Jasper with the Deadeye only gets nothing. We basically got nothing and got destroyed for it. And Crocodile actually eliminates Wu Jing, so that is a huge get. Maybe they can actually progress on that, and the defense is slowly beginning to be enveloped upon, but might have a chance to stabilize. They definitely can now with Hanzo, the Orisa, and Lily's, the Zenyatta, coming in to save things and basically reset the ship for Memento as we move into 4 minutes and 15.
You know, Flutter actually used the Molten Core there and kind of threw everyone out of whack there at ADSL2 plus, covered quite a bit of surface, and that kind of positional disadvantage put him that allowed him to kind of snipe to get the last few kills. So very smart use there of the Molten Core. To say that though, that's in the past. Moving into the next fight, the Sigma Shield from Flying Luigi's is promptly shredded. They're all protected there by the Immortality Field, poking through the top window here, trying to get a few extra kills. Amplification Matrix comes up, trying to fire a multitude and just flurry of bullets through. Still no kills on either side. It's a bit of a stalemate at this point. Trying to get all the picks through, but now the opposite side Amplification Matrix comes through, and the first pick does come through. Royal Rice downing McCarthy, and it keeps snowballing from there. So it was just a case of patience. The Immortality Field didn't do anything for Wu Jin, but for ADSL2 Plus, able to get quite a bit of utility out of that, especially after shredding the shields. Blizzard comes out as well, Amplification Matrix, making sure the team's nice and healthy and alive. McCarthy is down by accretion, and there's still a lot of brawling on point. Bob tries to go in and save the day, is frozen solid. Still in a pretty good position though, just hit around the corner, trying to poke around, and does get the last little kill onto Royal Rice just near the end, just when Royal Rice thought it was safe to peek out. And I think that's what was the final blow in that fight. Royal Rice thought it would be okay if Bob was just about to leave, and Royal Rice was almost right, but just got snapped by the Bob in the end. So can never be too careful with Bob. You gotta make sure he's gone before you peek back out.
Yep, and Bob is going to do something, and do something extremely painful if you get into his gaze. Big halt. Didn't quite get what Savannah was after, sadly, which would have been a big amount of AoE and damage over time damage. And now, it looks like we're going up top, and Jasper got absolutely blanked from the fight.
Jasper did get halted and then hit and then dynamited. So yeah, Jasper goes down quickly. Another reset comes out here. Savannah is just really not showing anyone on ADSL2 Plus any mercy, treating them all like members of the Deadlock game there.
Emphasis on the dead for that one. And now we're moving into 1 minute and 45. And this defense has been, it's shown a lot of resilience thus far. It's had a couple of close calls though, and it looks like we could be building to another one with a lot of crucial attackers ultimates coming online in the near future.
Brookdale gets really low, but is saved by Zealous. The Supercharger does come down, as well as an Implication Matrix. A lot of damage calling through here. Crocodile falls through, try and get some final kills. And Jasper actually at the tail end, the Implication Matrix, is able to get a couple of final kills just of McCarthy coming back from spawn. As I say that though, Flying Luigi's does come in with the Gravitic Flux, is able to try and also outmuscle a few more people. Savannah almost goes down, but this comes in. Comes down quickly though after that. Wu Jing trying to exo boot the heck out of there. It succeeds actually, so that able to get slightly more. 92.7%, but it's still not a full capture. 1 minute left, or 45 seconds left for ADSL2 Plus.
That is very true, and ADSL2 Plus will be a little bit miffed that they didn't get any more progress, and Leprechaunik almost has the Blizzard ready to go, but a lot of damage going through this next avenue of attack for ADSL2 Plus to deal with. They've also got to deal with Bob on deck, and it looks like they're moving down towards the lower deck, and McCarthy's the first to go, so this could be the slightly ajar window in for the attackers.
But Torb is not showing any mercy. Bob is frozen. They are wise to Bob's tactics. It's just kind of camping out. Still gets a kill on the Leprechaunik though. I don't even know where they found how they found him, but Bob's just being relentless, no mercy here. Bit more brawling on the point. Kill still flying both ways here. Wu Jing gets a kill on the Jasper. Crocodile is doing their best to try and swing around and stall at the point. Takes a few Orbs of Destruction though and is eliminated. McCarthy trying to carry it all on his own. Punched back by the Doomfist.
And McCarthy putting in the final word there, and that's Leprechaunic gone. And Hanzo actually has the Hammond did a big part along with the partner in crime. Their tank line on Memento has been a standout to me this evening.
It definitely has. It's been showing a lot of strength, and you need those tanks to really give your DPS heroes some space. So they've been doing a very good job between dealing damage to the enemy team and also protecting the rest of their team. It is a real fine line you need to balance there. But as I say that though, ADSL2 Plus still did a very good job. We're able to get just, again, a slither away from getting the full capture on this map like they did with Kings Row. 1 point and 92.7%. So as the sides are switched, we now have Memento on the attack, going a very similar tank composition, but instead of there being solid shields, we do have the Winston and the Wrecking Ball here for a little bit of mobility. It looks like they might just try to go and dive the point, but a few switches could still be made before the gates open. What do you make of this, Cyber?
We'll wait and see for the gates to actually go down, but I'm actually really interested to see how this Wrecking Ball will be implemented, because looking at the current setup that ADSL2 Plus has put together, it's going to be extremely stationary. It's going to result in a lot of people bunched up, and if they pulled up above Orisa's barrier using the power drive ability and that displacement, it could be a line for Memento to get in. But now that the gates are down and well, I said that long vitriol, and Hanzo, the Wrecking Ball, just got, well, wrecked.
I guess you could say it was a pretty good mousetrap they laid there. Wrecking Ball fell straight into it. I wonder if hamsters like cheese fell into it. Shred it promptly. The shields won't save you there, buddy. A little bit of delayed progress, but looks like Hanzo, the Wrecking Ball, is doing the same thing again. Just doing a little bit of, ooh, he's actually able to roll straight back to the point, so they're still on the top arm balcony here. Oh, just distracts him a little bit, tries to hide behind, swing through. Oh, I like what Hanzo's doing here. Hanzo's swinging around, just trying to confuse and bamboozle the team a little bit. Doesn't seem to really be stopping them though, as Jasper does take down Savhana. So, I like what they were doing there, but it looks like they just saw straight through it despite the confusion. They were able to get a few final kills. If they can get back to point, it'll be a reset.
Yes, indeed. And Little East gets tagged on the way out, and Flutter is being the choice, just darting around the back line, and finally goes down at the hands of Zealous, and that's going to be another, say, 10 seconds or so off of the timer for Memento's attack. And they don't even have a third to their name moving into this next phase. And Wu Jing already getting focused on and singled out.
Then you look here at Savhana just trying to sneak their way up as the Genji. ADSL2 Plus seems to really like camping up at this top balcony just near where the space seal vacuum is. So they're trying to work around that because they've got a lot of ground to cover and a lot of aerial dominance there in terms of field of view. But the Winston, McCarthy is able to dive through, try and get a little bit of distraction on the team. Gives Little East a lot of room to work with here with the Coalescence, and Savhana dives in, dashes in with the clutch, throws some shurikens saying see you later. Fleta capitalizes on that, is able to plant down a pulse bomb, and as well take down Flying Luigi's as he's in the middle of his own existential crisis with the Gravitic Flux. So it'll be a full point capture, 4 minutes 45 seconds on the clock for the attacking team Memento.
And Sky Shark,
Sand
Shark. I keep thinking you are airborne, but no, you are very much on land. I will say this, that Gravitic Flux from Flying Luigi's, he might be wanting that one back right now as the engagement happens onto the high ground, and McCarthy gets mowed down, so that's a small consolation. And Leprechaunic says, yeah, that's fine, I'll just roll over your support line. It's fine.
Luckily, the ulti economy was good enough to rely on the Riptide to take down a few of the steamrolling in heroes. But at this point, Flying Luigi's will be switching to the Orisa, bit more of a solid shield, trying to get a few more Holt kills as we have seen previously. Setting up on the top left balcony over here. Memento rolling red. Oh, Hanzo got caught. Mousetrap now is upgraded to and is forced to use the mines in emergency, but actually is able to get a kill off of that. Leprechaunik had nowhere to go and just got blown up in the face. The freeze wasn't as good as Junkrat's steel trap. To say that, McCarthy goes full 8 and goes into primal rage and tries to zap everyone out. And they're actually getting some real good progress here on this point. Great positioning here. All's not lost as the High Noon comes out and is able to take down Wujin. That's a huge pick.
That's a really big get from Jasper, and Flutter followed suit. And despite the best effort, Savannah has dived in and gotten the frag of the Leprechaunik, but was traded out by Jasper. And that is the end of that run for Memento. But they did get 1/3, and that is a crucial part, especially with the amount of time that Memento does have to play with. They have a little bit of a chance to actually try and feel out the way to approach the current state of battle. And it looks like the side of Memento is what to force ADSL2 plus down from the high ground. Jasper uses the Deadeye to force Memento to repel for a brief moment.
We look at the ult economy here. Everyone on Memento is very close to their ultimates. As I said, the Flutter does get down, but Savannah is getting very close to that Dragon Blade. It could be a very, very good utility to dive in at the top, just slice and dice everyone up. As I say that, though, kind of just being built up. We're getting a few kills that are just really stopping them from going in for the full charge. So just a little bit of patience here, trying to get a little bit more ult charge up before they steam in to get the remaining 2 and one of the little bit ticks to capture the point.
Only small increments is what will change this entire fight. And there's the Winslow jumping in, and Royal Rice just got absolutely cut down. Savannah comes in with the unsheathed blade and basically says, ADSL2 plus, I am cutting the cable to the rest of you. And that is that. Memento will say, GG, well played, the series is ours.
Yes, Memento does take it in a very convincing 3-0. A lot of great plays from both teams here, and even though the scoring was 3-0, it was a lot closer than it suggests. Maybe with the exception of this last map here, there's quite a bit of time left on the bank, but you could really see the cohesion between all team members here of Memento, all playing well for each other, and especially if you saw that last play there from Save Hana. Save Hana has been doing an incredible, exceptional job in their DPS role, especially with the Ashe. Very unconventional, something you don't really see it in much high tier Overwatch these days, but the Bobs were very well placed, and as a little bit of a mix between McCree and Widow, using that versatile kit to get those picks and the dynamite to finish off any stagglers is fantastic use. Even the Genji blade there, walled in, able to actually eliminate the immortality field and then slice and dice the rest of the members up there, while the remaining team members went onto the point to seal the series. So congratulations to Memento. Yeah, it was an incredible series. Who would you say your MVP was? Because there was a lot of good players here.
Yeah, there was a lot of good ones, but my MVP, I'm not sure if you'd mirror this. I'd say it was McCarthy, and his play, especially on the Sigma, was extremely, extremely strong. Every usage of the flux was with purpose, and I'll go back to it. The back alley brawl on King's Row was an extremely well coordinated effort there, and I'd say that McCarthy was the spearhead of that, and a lot of strong players on the back of him. So he'd be the big candidate for me.
Okay, thank you very much for the update. We've just had word that Memento will be playing Paradigm Shift in the next match here. But in terms of that, yet as great as Savannah does, yeah, I'm going to have to agree that McCarthy was really pulling their weight in the tank role there, giving a lot of space for their team to work around, and also with a few very good individual hero plays, especially the clutch overtime cap on King's Row. Map 2 didn't have any healers in sight, was able to charge in, fire strike in, even when slammed down, got straight back up. Was able to keep swinging that hammer to secure a victory on map 2. So yeah, I agree there. Resounding MVP for that match is McCarthy. Congratulations. We are not done yet, though. I'm not too sure what the process here is of going to a break.
We'll be taking a brief intermission while the rest of the round plays out, and we will be having the next game, which is scheduled for, I believe it's being pushed forward. We will double check with the admins, but we'll be. Well, I'll quickly run through the current state of affairs in terms of the bracket. In the upper bracket, we have Ravens and Min Young, who had a bit of a tussle, and that was a 3-0 win to Min Young, who was previously on stream. Corrupted Academy and Atletico, the results have not come to pass. We'll update you as soon as we get a hold of them. And Paradigm Shift and God Mode had their match go down, and it was a 3-0 to Paradigm Shift, who has looked extremely strong over the last little while, moving in amongst the Open Division and Trials. So it'll be a really interesting and a really fun thing to keep an eye on in the future. And for the lower bracket, we have ADSL2 Plus and Classified. And now we have our full first round, so I'll run through that real quick. So the lower bracket will have ADSL2 Plus and Classified, God Mode and Corrupted System, Corrupted Academy and Spedshed, and Ravens versus Excalibur to round out the lower bracket. So keep an eye on the socials for OEO and CappingTV for that. But for now, Sand Shark, I had to pause to actually get rid of that tip because actually there was a player it was a TF2 that was called Sky Shark. So yes, it's a bit of a tick, I guess you could say.
That's understandable. That's all good. People get my name wrong enough in real life anyway, so it's something I am totally used to at this point.
It's fine. And well, sharks are cool people. Like you look at street sharks and sand sharks and sky sharks. Sharks are great. And well, I reluctantly say there's the Cronulla sharks, but either way. We'll move to a brief intermission for the OEO Quarantine Cup. I have been Subwest. I have been joined by Sandshark. And if you have any parting words before we do head to intermission, please orate them to the masses.
Just thank you for having me. I hope you do enjoy this cast of I forgot the team names already. Memento versus ADSL2, but don't go anywhere yet. We still have one more match, I believe, for the Knights. 15 minutes from now, we will have the next match, and Minion versus Atletico, which should be a fantastic sight. And then we got a couple more of the semifinals and the grand final tomorrow. So don't leave. We'll be right back. See you in 15.